I mean, I expect a lot of Fnatic because we had Vrax playing for quite a while here in Spain, so he's like part of the family already, and so I want him to do well and better than Excel this time around.
Yeah, and I think the roster itself is made up of people who we expect to be really top tier, like Pride, Maxi, Forbidden, Bean, Rux, like especially Febby. I mean, we talk about him a lot, but the name kind of draws the weight naturally. It's a team that is clearly supposed to be at a level that is almost above ERL, in a sense. So these guys clearly want a lot to do. They have a lot to prove this summer split. Their biggest rivals, XL, are off to a banging start already. So I think for them, every game is going to be important, and the Renekton first pick Foxy, which we see time and time again right now, gets locked in over for Godsent.
Yeah, this leaves Lee Sin as a power pick is still open. Maybe you want to pick up your jungler. If you do want to pick up something for another side of the map, you can do that as well. I think the Renekton first pick is gonna almost like guarantee that you have a decent top jungle matchup, because Renekton pairs really well with champions like Nidali, but also even like the Morgana that's open. There's a lot of good like AP damage junglers around right now. Obviously the Rumble is already taken away, but it does mean that Renekton synergizes well with those.
We're going to see Ezreal. Yeah, the Udyr gets locked in, which is something that we see quite a lot here, Caroline. Now, what do you expect? I mean, I'm expecting a Morgana, like Foxy said. That's been a pretty classic 1-2 matchup that we've seen throughout the NLC. But let's see how this next phase of picks goes over for Godsent.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, there's another one. So AP junglers, like, yeah, Rumble's taken away. Morgana's really strong and is open. You could go for Morgana if you wanted to. But the Lilia instead, what I quite like about this pick is that I think it's got a decent matchup into Udyr specifically. Like, we were seeing a lot of Udyr Lilias back in the day. I say that like I'm like ancient. A few months ago, we were seeing a lot of Lilia Udyrs. But she just keeps up very nicely with those clears and in those skirmishes and stuff like that. And also, I think that Lilia does really well in kind of like clumped up small range fights. And when there's an Udyr who's just kind of running around, and you've got a Renekton who also wants to jump in and run around, like there's a good chance you're going to have those type of fights. And I think Lilia can thrive in those situations.
We'll see the final pick that comes through for Fnatic Rising. I mean, very, very standard coming out from Godsent. I think we haven't seen as much Lilia, though, recently. Lilia's kind of been superseded by Morgana in the jungle lately, but the Jace does get locked in. I can see your eyes raising there a little bit there, Carmeline. I said Carmeline. Yeah, sorry.
Oh my gosh.
I'll try. I'm going to try, okay? I promise you. I promise you I'll try to get it right.
No problem. Everything is fine.
So... You're saying that to trigger me, but I love it when it's like it sounds so much better said in that accent than in my accent. So
so true.
Oh gosh. So in the case, I just want to say that I love this pick.
Yeah.
You love this pick too? Do you want to talk about it?
I wanna ask you what you think about it specifically, because this is a flex in and of itself, right? And do you think you're going to put it topside against Renekton, or do you think you're going to put it mid? But it also leaves you a bit lacking in magic damage, So where do you think Fnatic's going to go, like, from that Jace pick?
I'm going to say I can picture the Forbidden Jace going mid lane here.
Yeah, I think it's a relatively solid shout. I mean, at the end of the day, you're shutting off a lot of things like the Gnar in the top lane as well, because you have that flexibility of the Jace. Like you can very easily like throw it top if you wanted to as well. But as we've seen, we have talked a lot on this show about mixed damage profiles and the need for AP mixed with AD, but teams last week have proven that you don't have to worry about it if you're just stomping. Like if you are coming into a game to stomp, like at what point are you going to get enough armor to make it relevant that you don't have any AP damage, right? So if you're blowing them up in 15 minutes, when are you buying armor? Like you're not, like most of the time, right? So like when you talk about this need for mixed damage profiles, it only matters if the game's getting drawn out. It only matters if you have a super tank that wants to build resistances or whatever. And the Braum gets locked in here. So they're still keeping that last pick flexible now for Fnatic Rising, which I really like. And honestly, I would not be surprised to see a heavy AD team from Fnatic, because they're a kind of team that will just come out all guns blazing and take over the game before armor becomes even remotely relevant,
I think that's a good point. If you can get the lanes to make that happen, I know like as far as skill goes, you would expect Fnatic Rising to be able to do something like that. But if you are playing versus someone like Renekton, even this Kai'Sa Alice is fairly, Ez doesn't tend to do a huge amount early game, so If Fnatic were to take over really early on into this game, I think that would just be a testament to their skill as a roster, and that would be really scary if I'm an NLC team watching that one thinking, holy crap, they draft this and still take away early. But yeah, I'm like, this is where it gets kind of interesting, because even this Renekton is like a bit of a flex as well. You can chuck that in mid, and it looks like that's probably what's going to happen here. So it might actually be to extend on that, on the Renekton in the mid lane. And now it's up to Fnatic to respond. Like, I think Jace does pretty well into... I think Jace does pretty well into Aurelia, if I'm not mistaken. And
I think it's fine.
yeah, and it's like, do you want to just put that in topside and then you know, go for like a Syndra or something maybe a bit more magic focused as your last pick?
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
So I think that must be Febi's Akali, right? I don't think you're putting pride on Akali, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I like this. Would you? Okay, so Akali's going to be playing versus Renekton or Aurelia. What are your... Carmeline, tell me. Akali, how is Akali looking this game?
Oh gosh. So I think she's gonna be having a kind of difficult laning phase against Aurelia, but I expect her to pick up around the mid game and just, stomp. I really trust the champion in the hands of Febiben, and though Godsent has got quite a good composition altogether, I'm really leaning more towards Fnatic's.
Yeah, I think I can see that, and I think the Akali pickup's quite nice. I mean, when you go for that first pick Renekton, you're essentially denying Lee Sin lane, because it's one of those things that Lee Sin isn't particularly strong into Renekton, so you've just flexed the Renekton into the lane that Lee Sin goes into, right? So they did a good job of shutting that down, but I love the answer. I love the flexibility that they can throw that Jace either top or mid. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting. I expect Fnatic to come in favorites, despite, I mean, honestly, regardless of draft, I think Fnatic probably would have come into this game favorites at the end of the day, whatever they came through that draft phase. But they've got a strong solo lanes to play through this game. Playing through those solo lanes, as Foxdrop said, you've got an incredibly safe bot lane. Like Ezreal Braum's not going to be popping off, but Akali and Jace absolutely can do. So we're kind of playing through the strength of the solo lanes here for Fnatic. But we have some brilliant casters to take us through our games today. We have a tried and tested duo. We've seen a lot of outings on the European Masters. I'm excited to have them casting again. It's Hiprain and it's Jamada.
Thank you very much, Dad. Hello and welcome to the Caster Desk. We're getting ready to go into our first game of week 2, Jamada. I think this is the first time on this show we've casted together, if I'm right. I could be incredibly wrong on that, but it's going to be Godsent versus Fnatic Rising. Like Iskandar said at the beginning of the show, Fnatic Rising definitely looking to try and return to form. They were previously undefeated in their home league until last season, where BTXL took the throne from them and took it all the way to 2nd place in the European Masters, a feat that even Fnatic haven't been able to achieve. So they have a lot to prove right now.
Yeah, and not only that, in the same tournament that they did that, Fnatic Rising didn't even make it to main stage in the UM. So Fnatic are probably going to be feeling pretty angry about it. Fortunately for them, this week they've got 3 games as well, which, in a way, it can kind of be considered a bit of a grind to play 3 match days back to back to back like that. But they are starting off with Godsent. Godsent didn't really have much of a fun time last week, either into Nordavind. So Godsent themselves, they're having a bit of a tough start. But yeah, Fnatic, they want to get off to as strong a start as possible at the start of the split and just try and keep this momentum going.
Yeah, and keeping in mind as well for Fnatic Rising is this is the same roster we had last split. So they're used to each other. They kind of figured each other out. They've obviously had that kind of 3-4 week gap. Actually, it's been a bit longer because they didn't make it into the group stage. It's been about 6-7
Rub
weeks
it in their faces, Jake.
Well, you get more holiday that way, I guess. They had a bit more time to kind of, chill and get themselves going for this split. So far, they've only had 1 game, which they did win. So we'll see exactly how this is going to go as we're onto the Rift. It looks like Maxi actually doing a chicken start here on the Udyr solo start. Oh. While he has been spotted out by that ward that's been placed down as the red buff leashed up for Aesthetic. So Fnatic will get first priority on to this bot side, and it is an Alistar level 1 as well. So you kind of expect, with the fact that Fnatic did get this this start on the wave and with just the champions in play, they will be able to get all the priority they want here in this lane.
Fnatic's bot lane just apparently have point and click abilities too onto you. So yeah, like you say, full priority, Godsent bottom lane had to leash. Fnatic Risings didn't. And Maxi actually skipping out on his Krog, so he's going to be on the bottom side a little bit quicker. Aesthetic likely to go for a more full clear base jungle pathing. And yeah, Godsent continuing to get bullied out here, I think, with all this priority. Just looking to make sure Maxi can secure the skull once it spawns up. I'm pretty interested about these solo lanes though, because Akali into Irelia, it used to kind of be a pretty good Akali lane, but obviously she's had an abundance of changes since we've kind of seen this as a lane matchup relatively consistently. I'm not sure how it goes now. I imagine it kind of sucks for Akali because she's basically not a champion until her first item anymore.
Yeah.
But we'll see how 610 plays it as well.
If I remember back, I remember level 6 was kind of where Akali started to get a little bit more comfortable in this lane. I think kind of like 1 to 5 was normally fairly Aurelia favored. Although it's been such a long time, I can't actually remember exactly how this lane goes.
To be sort of brief about it, it used to be pretty good for Akali because she could put the shroud down if she knows she's going to get stunned, and Irelia can't really trade onto her. Oh my god!
He just flashed the wall, lands the bowling ball that slows onto Pride. Pride's running away, got no flash, goes up with the take to the skies, but Eep, watch out, Pride. Aesthetic's coming for you. First blood to Godsent.
Yo, man, I'm loving the aggression from Aesthetic. He just says, all right, I'm taking the flash over the wall. Blasco obviously not there just yet. Maxi did take the time, though, to beeline up to the top side of the river to secure the skull. So he's actually going to get himself double skull for this gank at the very least. So at least nice for him individually, but Aesthetic winning out big, getting the first blood here. Not a whole bunch to really talk about on the replay. Just Pride. He's not expecting it. He's got the ward in the river, but when the jungler literally flashes into the river on top of your ward, you don't really have a lot of time to react.
I mean, that was beautiful by Aesthetic. Shutting Pride down now. Setting that Renekton up as well, because that's kind of the lane you really wanted set up. You want to get Renekton going, you want to get him rolling. Obviously, since the item changes, he's kind of fallen off less, and that seems to be where the attention is on him. But Aesthetic is playing really patiently here. Gonna miss the bowling balls. Looks like they're just trying to set up this shove and give Yusa a quick recall.
Yeah.
They escort the wave under the tower.
Exactly, and Aesthetic won't lose much for that gank. Had his jungle camp spawning on the bottom side anyway. So real nice use of his time there. Febby actually kind of just winning out in this mid lane as far as HP pool is concerned. He's still got his pot as well, whereas 610's only got a biscuit remaining, so he's probably going to recall pretty soon. Ooh, Kubu.
Pride was not happy about that game.
No, he's not happy.
Teaching that crocodile who's boss.
Yeah. It's, of course, one of the few laners in the game that can kind of give it to Renekton in the laning stage. So, oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh,
he saw him. He just saw him.
All right.
Oh, Svene, unlucky friend.
Yeah. Gotta hug the wall. Gotta abuse the vision pockets, man. Nice attempt I mean, it seems very clear what Godsent's plan may or may not be in this game. Ooh. Cheeky. From 610.
That's always quite annoying. It's just 1 minion that gets held, so they just like small advantage. But we'll see. You know, Febby's probably not going to need to burn teleport. May lose a little bit more than he wanted to, but should still be okay with this. So actually down in CS at the moment, and this is a fairly large wave at 610 should just be able to pick up on the back of this. Is Aesthetic flash not up and available quite yet here on the Lilia, but a couple of camps away from hitting that level 6 mark, and may just look for another one. There's a Blackstone this time.
Kubu has flash. Oh, Maxi's here though.
Yeah, Maxi's coming in, gets himself the slap down onto Kubi. They're teleporting members in as Aesthetic's trying to put some extra damage in. Misses the eat, watch out, and that'll be the end of Kubi as Pride secures the kill. Aesthetic is forced back underneath the tower from Fnatic. Held that teleport for Featherman, and he uses it well.
Yeah, good read from Maxi as well to be there and ready for the counter gank. And Featherman just for reassurance that they will outright win the skirmish.
Yeah. I'd say he used his teleport well. He didn't get an assist. He didn't get much.
He just
for
showed
that,
up.
Unfortunately.
Participation Medwoni, I'm afraid.
So it looks like actually on our minimap, we can see Zvene is obviously recalling on a ward, but 610 I thought was scrapping with Febby, but it was actually just him queuing into the wave.
Yeah.
So I got a little baited by the minimap, by the dashing on the minimap when it's an Aurelia.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's certain champions where you see someone go in and you're like, oh, they must be fighting, but Aurelia is actually just playing Aurelia.
Just headbutting the keyboard and mousing over the wave. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing I'll give Aurelia the champion, she is actually kind of difficult-ish to play. You know, you see memes about champions like Katarina, for example, which I think that's a headbutt the keyboard champion. But I think Aurelia, you can actually, you need hands. You need hands for Aurelia.
Yeah, you absolutely do. I think it just feels like she's one of those champions that when she gets ahead, eventually the hands aren't even needed. She just can queue into you and auto attack you to death. I think
Yeah,
that's where
that's when it
people go,
feels
oh,
bad.
this champion's so broken. It's just, no, she just snowballs really hard when she snowballs. 610, not quite in a snowball position right now, has got himself a pretty significant CS lead over Febby, and Febby gonna struggle to catch most of this wave. 610 still gonna jump in. They've got Fnatic about. If that bowling ball hits, that might be one dead Akali. In the shroud he goes. They're waiting for him to come out, looking for that in the lilting lullaby. He's stunned up, he's locked down. Are they gonna pull the trigger? No. Trying to hold everything there and just force Febby away.
Bit of a curious decision for me, because Febby doesn't have flash. So, okay, Febby wants to go back in now, though.
Yeah, they're looking for it. Zane gets a headbutt off, and Febiven goes for the shuriken flip. Not going to finish up for the cow. Makes his way away. Fnatic just playing pretty aggressive here.
Yeah, that was two very curious engagements back to back, in my opinion. On the side of Godsent, I feel like you just pull the trigger on the Lilling Lullaby. You probably pick up Febiven because he has no gap closes. You can't really just R anywhere like you used to be able to on that Akali.
I'm genuinely curious whether or not 610 had his Q. I think maybe if his Q was on cooldown, maybe that's why they didn't go for it.
He queued onto Febby to get the gap close there.
Okay, and he didn't stun him first. So yeah, he had Q. Okay.
Exactly. So in that sense, I can get it, but you also had Svenny in support. So it is a bit of a head scratcher. But Fnatic, off the back of their aggressiveness in mid lane, they still pick up the Rift Herald. And curiously, no one's actually had much focus on early dragons. Something I feel like teams fluctuatingly care about in the early game, and sometimes they just don't. Specifically at Worlds last year, it felt like no teams were ever really picking up the first early dragons in sort of the opening 10 minutes of the game quite frequently.
That's a hungry crocodile.
Yeah.
Prize looking for him, misses the shot blast, and that's gonna be the Dominus. Instantly pop flashes in, gets him popped back, but Kubi can just chase with the slice. Missing out on the bowling ball though, as there's gonna have to be a flash by Fnatic to secure the kill. Godsent are able to find something, maybe a little bit too much burnt there from the double flashes, as the dragon will get answered out for on the bottom side of the map. 610 maybe looking for Febby, waiting for the shroud to fade away before he can really commit anymore. They are just gonna step away from that.
Oh, engagement in the mid, I think, yeah.
Catch him with a flawless duet. Oh, Febby slides away with a killer instinct. Not killer instinct, perfect execution.
There you go.
There's a Kai'Sa in this game. That's why I'm getting muddled up. There's a Kai'Sa.
Okay. Yeah,
there it is.
And actually, it's
the killer instinct.
It's Yusa piloting the Kai'Sa, which for anyone who is following or was following the UKLC last split, there was a little bit of a meme about Yusa's usages of the killer instinct. We'll see if he actually has good uses today. Did he run the Kai'Sa last week? I actually can't recall. I don't think he did.
You know, I should know, but I don't know. I genuinely can't remember.
It's more my job to know than you, to be fair.
It's our job, friend.
It's our
It's a collective. It's a collective team effort between the pair of us, and we're both failing in that department right now. But yeah, if like you're saying, Yusa, I've watched this guy play Kai'Sa for a very long time. Back when the UKLC was the main league for the UK scene. He used to make plays on this champion, and he also used to make ints on this champion. So we'll see what version of Yusa we're going to get today.
I know full well I've had Yusa as a player and as a competitor.
Roll those dice, friend. Roll those dice with those killer instincts.
Yeah, exactly. But sort of dialing back into the game a bit. I was about to question where they're going to use the Herald. It seems like they're going to put it into Pride's pocket. Though I don't think he was close enough unless he hit the tower. I think all of that gold went into Maxi's pocket.
Yeah, Maxi, probably not the ideal person. I mean, it was Goldborg, last week actually had a real talk about this. He started to say maybe junglers should stop picking up the eye and maybe giving it to AD carries, maybe giving it to higher priority players.
Yeah, exactly. No, we saw this adaptation, especially when lane swapping for the Herald was like the thing to do, where eventually teams just sort of picked up, why don't we just give it to our AD carry? Which makes the most sense. They get the empowered reset, so they have faster tempo and they're back out on the map quicker. And of course, if you want to give them the full solo tower, or just the solo plates, really, it all goes into their pocket and it's not shared. So it is something to always think about. And I think Pride was actually in the area when they took down the Herald initially. But hey, something to think about for anybody listening, I suppose.
You can see the individual golds, and to be fair, Maxi getting those solo plates was actually pretty impactful because Aesthetic's 2 kills has lent him into a slight gold lead as he once again is looking to camp Pride. Gonna miss out on the swirl seed, but they may just go for the tower dive. Renekton does have that dominus available, but the wave is just trimmed out far too quickly. Yusa stealing away this well, securing this red buff, might be secured by Maxi and Rux. He's gonna have to jump away. The Winter Spike goes wide. Killer Instincts backwards, instantly goes to the cleanse and the flash. Everything burnt by Yusa just to hold his life.
Yeah, I mean, giving up the tower because he kind of recognizes that his team's making a play on the top side. So he already knows he's on the weak side of the map, trying to secure a jungle camp for himself. But Maxi and Rux just kind of scouting out the jungle anyway before they go to the bottom lane. They see that the AD carry isn't underneath the tower. So they go looking for him and they find both his summoner spells and an ultimate. Pride is just not having a fun game so far.
Nope. Pride is getting camped, unfortunately. Maxi just showing his face to make sure Febby can catch this wave uncontested with the fact that Zvene was about. Yusa's swapped over towards this lane.
Oh, Maxi.
And they might have found Maxi here. Zvene goes for the flash headbutt, kind of whiffs it a little bit, but they are going to be able to lock him down, and this should just be a freebie as Yusa secures it with a Void Seeker. Dominus is popped by Kubu, who chases onto Rux. The Swirl Seed is connected as well, so they've got the slow. Rux tries to jump to the minion, gets a Glacial Fissure off for the moment, and that might just be enough for him to survive. As Bean in the bot lane will be able to pick himself up a whole bunch of free plates. This tower will crumble. Probably not quite quick enough to secure that first turret blood and with the plates, but at least quick enough.
Oh, no, he's got it.
Oh, he's got it, yeah,
He's
okay.
got 15 seconds, Jake. Have some faith in the Ezreal.
I forget Essence Flux actually does a fairly healthy amount of damage to towers.
Yeah, it does. It does. But, yeah, Maxi, I'm not sure what he was necessarily thinking rushing into the topside jungle, to be quite honest with you. Should have at least had a rough idea that Godsent had sort of set up camp. We've just sort of walked away from a pseudo map split, and Rux with the ultimate interrupts the watch out heap, probably saves his life in the meantime with it. Good stuff from him.
As we approach the 15-minute mark, Fnatic have got themselves a gold lead. Even though Godsent are being proactive on the map, they are finding these kills, they are finding these opportunities. With the tower plating, with the gold that they've been able to inject into Bean, who's now finished up his Divine Sunderer, Fnatic have got the controller on this game right now. They've got that dragon as well, as the second dragon spawns up, and Maxi is instantly on it for spawn. So Fnatic should be able to pick up this second dragon, and it won't be the fastest soul we're going to see in the world. It was a little bit slow to pick up that first one. They are going to be on track towards that soul for around 25 minutes.
Yeah, 25, 26 minutes, give or take. And it's only a cloud, so it's not going to be the most pressure in the world. But we spoke about it over the weekend on the UKLC. Teams like this definitely do benefit. I think actually Jace as well. I'm not sure if Jace actually benefits from the global.
I think it's all global. I think it's all champions with ultimate. So Nidalee, Udyr. I swear they changed it for all of them. I know Udyr's a definite.
Udyr 100%. Oh wow,
yeah,
ate that.
That was a lot of damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure how Jace benefits from it. I'll have to look into it. But Udyr for sure obviously loves it. Akali wants to try and cast her armor on cooldown. That's a whole bunch of damage. Ezreal is really damn strong, but Godsent trying to contest this Rift Herald potentially. See how this one goes.
Well, Maxi's just going to slap up a couple of members, and 6'10 is already chunked. He has to jump to safety towards a minion. The teleport's coming in as Kubu joins, locking down one. Bean is trying to be the target here as Yusa able to secure a kill onto Maxi. Aesthetic's going to be next. Yusa slides onto that backline, looking for Bean as he's got the backup with him. Febby comes in, has the slide, and he can look to mop up a couple of kills here. Can he find another one? Bean shooting off as Kubu is only able to watch, as that's going to be a quick kill for 6'10. He's trying to make this play work, but he is locked down. A triple kill for Featherman, and Fnatic rising. Ace Godsent.
Yeah, they aced them, and I've got a couple of questions for Godsent in that one. I feel like Fnatic played that out just about as perfectly as they probably could have. But, you know, Aesthetic didn't pull the trigger on the Luring Lullaby. The ultimate was held for such a long time from 6'10. Of course, he was engaged on the start of the fight. But how far did he get pushed out? I'm really curious to see how far he ended up actually retreating after the initial engage. The replays here, I mean, he gets chunked out quite heavily, and I suppose maybe he has to heal up a little while. But on the Rift Herald itself, it's Fnatic, I think, that secure it. The knockup's nice from Svene, but it's not quite enough. And you see, Aesthetic actually has the mark on Bean. He could have pulled the Luring Lullaby trigger there to sort of just chuck him out of the fight for at least a couple of seconds. And that could have been all the time required for Kubu to actually maybe secure a few more kills if he wasn't being DPS down by Bean. And unfortunately for 610, he misses out on the Vanguard's edge. And without that extra dash, without that extra Q to actually layer onto multiple targets, he just doesn't have the damage to necessarily clean up a few more people than he could have.
Fnatic now posturing around this mid lane. They really want to try and take down this final turret. I didn't see if Rifter was secured, but I don't see where it was used because it's already off cooldown.
There's a strong chance nobody picked it up.
Oh, that's probably what happened. We were just in a replay, and I did not notice. I was not keeping my eye out for that, actually. That's on me. Yeah, so there's honestly from the oh, they probably used it top because top was fairly healthy.
I mean, no, because Fnatic used the Herald top originally, so that tower was actually relatively chunked.
Oh,
I didn't catch it. I didn't catch it.
They must not have picked it up.
So I'm assuming no one picked it up.
Me and you are just bumbling through our first cast of the day, aren't we? We have no idea what we're doing.
We need a little bit of warm up time here, you know.
Yeah, the weekend.
As we've casted 8 games in the last 2 games.
Yeah, the 8 games we did over the weekend definitely not enough warm up apparently.
Bean has 2 Caulfield's Warhammers in his inventory.
So one is going to be obviously his Essence Reaver, and the other one, I believe, goes into Sorelda's Grudge. So he's just maxing CDR at the moment. Or is it unique?
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think it stacks, so it's pretty inefficient in the moment. And also, the current Ezreal build is more geared toward tank. You sort of see like Frozen Heart come in as a third item on this patch, just because Divine Thunderer has such high base damages on top of just Muramana being an item. Getting more mana out of the Frozen Heart into something like that Shoulder's Grudge later on makes a whole bunch of sense.
I've had it confirmed, by the way. The Herald was not picked up. So that's exactly what happened. I don't know what team secured it. I don't think it's actually necessary. I don't think it matters right now. Because it doesn't get used. We've got 40 seconds until this Cloud Soul comes up. Or Cloud Dragon, sorry, the first one.
Hey, and it's Godsent with the control in the river. At the moment, a lot of vision down there. And 610's just cleared out the wave in the top side. So he's got nothing to do up there for now.
But now they do have this pocket that has been highlighted by Observer, though. They have this one area where they know it's pretty safe to walk into, so they can use that as a starting point to advance their vision forwards. And 22 seconds till the dragon spawns. Maybe Fnatic just look to give it up. Maybe they don't feel comfortable going for it.
Yeah, but if they do decide to give it up, I would like to know where exactly they're going to try and at least sort of cross-map, trade out, get some resources in return. Given their posturing now, it looks like they are just going to contest it. It's a very interesting game because a lot of these champions aren't necessarily what you'd consider traditional team fighting champions.
Oh, they're going straight for Bean. Hit him with the Swirl Seed. They're jumping in. Everything's going to get thrown off as they're trying to kill him, but Bean's able to survive, and Aesthetic will lose his life. Yusa now jumps over the wall, but Maxi will just continue the onslaught. Bean takes out Yusa, and Godsent are routed. Fnatic don't give a damn about the dragon. It's all for Baron.
Yeah, it's all for Baron. It's just coincidence of timing for this pick to occur. Godsent, they try and get aggressive by just backfires on them. Curiously, 610 doesn't have Vanguard's edges, like 3/4 of the way almost off cooldown. So I think he used it after the previous fight at some point. As Godsent, they're going to at least trade out this dragon. I think if he had that Vanguard's edge, it could have maybe been something, but Aesthetic got blown up so fast, it was practically a done deal before the fight even started.
Well, Baron now in the pocket for Fnatic Rising. We'll see what they can do with it as we are just going to get a quick replay. It looked like a good pick onto Bean, but no one could quite follow up.
Yeah, no one could follow up. I think, does the Braum Shield block the Irelia stun? I think it might have actually halted at Rux, and it meant that Bean did actually get stunned up by Irelia. So really nice stuff from Rux to keep ZD Carry alive in that situation. And pretty much off the back of a single Braumi. Oh, wow.
They secure Baron. Flash.
Yeah, and they get Aesthetic Splash.
And now Pride is actually kind of that one item away from the major spike we see from the Jace.
Yeah.
Typically, it's that third item. You've got the Eclipse, you've got the Manamine. Yeah, I can't remember what the next item is. I assume it's just Heralda's Grudge.
It's probably just Heralda's, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, Rux, not Rux, rather. Pride, truly online, look how much damage you did to Yusa with that one-shot blast. You don't even really need the Armor Pen item. Jace is a pretty strong champion at 2 items with this combination. The Armor Pen and the flat AD you get is just absolutely bonkers. And I think Fnatic, Febi's potentially in trouble.
They're able to
I
jump
think
away
Akali-
as Svene comes in, gets the headbutt the pole. They've got the Shuriken flip. They're going to lock him down as Yusa slides in, and there is the shutdown to 610. But Fnatic are going to make use of this time, though, and pick themselves up a tower in the top side of the map.
It's a funny looking lizard. The top side, but yeah, Febby just overextending, gives the shutdown over to 610. And we'll see what he can do with the gold. He's pretty close to a shield bow. I imagine he's got the gold to finish it up now.
I think it's
So
a little bit more.
yeah, I think with those components.
He still has the crit cloak to
No,
get,
no,
yeah.
he's got it. No, he's got it. I think it's 1.2k with those components. So on his reset, he'll have.
Yes, sorry, because it's 650 with all combined. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. See, maths.
Sometimes we can do it. Sometimes we can get it together. Shieldboat's going to be a
possible, I
nice buy here. I wonder if we see some Serpent Fangs maybe come out as well. I mean, I don't think there's enough shielding at the moment, but I'm thinking if Fnatic go later, Pride could think about it as potentially like a 4-fighter.
Pride won't mind. I mean, he's actually got Dirk in his inventory, so unless he's going for Edge of Night, I mean, it's a pretty cheap item, and it would have a fair amount of value. But we'll have to see if he even gets to that point.
But Kubu will definitely be getting a lot of damage put into him. As the Fnatic.
Oh, no.
Oh, what's Fnatic?
Back to base with you, dear lady. You're not welcome on the Rift. That's what Fnatic have just said to Aztec.
He just got so chunked.
Oh my god.
This is
It's
starting to be
practically
bullying.
targeted abilities at this.
He's gonna go for another. What's Yusa? It's gonna be Yusa.
Or
It's gonna be Yusa.
Oh,
no, okay. It's
yeah.
just
He missed
luckily, the back wave of minions took that for Yusa.
But that was one of the things I was kind of looking at in this comp, especially when I saw the Jace locked in before the Akali. It kind of looked like it could have ended up being a bit of a poke composition, you know, before that R5. And the range differential is definitely showing, irregardless of Akali and Udyr being present. There's just not
Kubu.
really any... Oh no, Kubu.
Able to dodge the Winter's Bite. He's going to pop the Dominus and look to try and kill Bean. Bean just clears the wall, and even with the lockdown onto Kubu, Kubu able to survive as Febby going to dodge away on the Flawless Duet. The Shock Blast will hit them in the bum on the way out, but it's only onto 610, so he's got a fair amount of health thanks to the Shield Bow passive, so doesn't really do too much to him. Has got a bit of armor as well. That was the teleport now burnt by 610, but realistically, the opportunity to use that elsewhere going to be relatively low. And Fnatic, even without Baron, feeling confident to step up. Svene may look for something.
Oh,
Kubu just jumps straight in. They're going to throw everything and shut Bean down. The Vanguard's Edge hits onto 2, and 610 is trying to cut through the backline. He's healing up a lot. Pride is low, and 610 is still going. Fnatic's able to secure the kill. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Here's the Swell Seed, only going to hit the wall, though, as Yusa flashes forward and secures the shutdown. Godsent, find 2.
Yeah, a couple of shutdowns in their a couple of shutdowns in their back pocket, and given the timing, they should just about be able to secure this next dragon too. So sort of alleviating the potential pressure of an Elder eventually spawning off the back of this fight. Real nice aggression from Kubu just onto Bean, and the CC layering is perfect. Bean doesn't even get to flash away. I'm not even sure if he even arcane shifted out. That's how quickly he kind of died in that CC. So real nice from Aztec to hold on. Especially like we were just talking about all of the ranged poke that I was about to say. Godsent don't really have much of a rebuttal in terms of engage, but if you've got 2 dashes and a flash, then apparently you can still make it happen. Yusa
able to take the tower down. He's got Febby on the back as they do go for a quick headbutt pole. Yusa's pretty low, and I think they know that Febby's in the area, so they're not just committing for a quick kill. There's a teleport that's actually been blown here by Pride. Just stealing away the blue buff and getting in position to help set up for this Baron that comes up in 20 seconds time, and also get the wave in order. Maxime might find himself a little caught out though, so Fnatic will lock him down. The Lilting Lullaby will connect, and everybody's just going to chase in. They've got the stuns, they've got the lockdown. There's a great Glacial Fissure to bail Maxi out, and Godsent are chunked by Pride. He's doing so much damage. Kubu teleports in, and his team's already too low.
have we had a damage graph in the last 5 minutes?
I would like a damage graph if we have one.
If we can get an updated one, hopefully before this game ends again, I would love to see Pride's damage, because I definitely missed over it. I might be looking at the wrong feed, but my goodness, the amount of damage Pride is putting out. And pretty much the pressure of that shock blast alone forces
Here it
Godsent
comes.
away from that side of the map. 21k. He's double the mid jungle.
He's
Godsent
closing in on 1,000 damage a minute.
Yes.
Is that- yeah, he's
873 damage.
Oh
If
my
it's an
Lord.
accelerated gated Q. Absolute scenes from I don't know what else to say. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. And he went for Yumu's actually, over any of the other options, which I think is
I
fine.
mean, I think the Sterix and the Shield Boat aren't going to be too problematic at the moment.
No.
And I mean, when you've got Bean and Pride just doing this much damage, that extra movement speed's probably just a little bit more useful. That's going to be that turret going down. So now, first base turret has been cracked as Vene finds a couple of members. The Swirl Seed hits the wall once again as Fnatic just not landing, and as Pride is landing a 3-man shock blast, consistently finding damage, consistently chunking out Godsent's members. Yusa only on his second item of the Titanic Hydra was finished up for Bean and the QSS. He knows he's the target. He knows that's who they're looking for. So he's going to be feeling extra safe right now.
Jake, I'm going to upset you. It's the Ravenous Hydra.
Sorry, yeah, it's that one.
But all of the extra sustain and the damage is obnoxious. And the thing about this build is he's got so much haste that it's going to eventually get to a point where if you take a look at the bottom left of our screens, each time he hits a Mystic shot, it's basically off cooldown within about 0.4 of a second. And
I should just stop
Godsent.
reacting to Q's landing,
Yeah,
but like every time it catches me off, I'm like, it can't do that much damage, right? Oh, God.
Godsent are feeling really bad about not having any engage at the moment. I'll tell you that for free.
Yeah.
Their comp really relies on things like flank angles, overextensions where there's a pocket of fog and, Kubu can come out of the bush and flash on top of multiple people or something like that. But it's just not happening in this game. Fnatic have just had full control from nearly start to finish. As first inhibitor's dropped. Engage apparently from Svene, but I don't know how it's going to go.
Well, Svene's going to lose his life. That's how it's going to go. As the Svene's taken out by Febe, then Fnatic have already silenced 3 members of Godsent. Febe just slides in to get himself another. It's a triple kill picked up for Bean. And Fnatic wasn't the fastest game in the world, but they did make it look easy. Fnatic will take this game.
Yes, they will, and they certainly did make it look easy. I think Godsent, for me, they just weren't really able to ever meet the win conditions to try and win out around a lot of these skirmishes, around those early neutral objectives, and all of the camping on Pride on the top side just didn't work out, unfortunately, as Fnatic take their second win of summer. I think more than well deserved here.
They've had very dominant games, I think, throughout the entire split so far. I mean, we've only had 2 weeks and 2 games from Fnatic, but they have been very dominant. Now, this is a longer week than last week. We've got 3 game days this week, so I believe they're playing in all of them.
They're playing every day today.
Yeah, so they've got potential to go 3-0 this week, and I think they need to prove us that they are the Fnatic of old and not the Fnatic of last split. But really, really solid game from Fnatic. Godsent, maybe a little bit more to look at. Like you said, the lack of engage really kind of bit them in the bum coming into the later stages of that game. So maybe they'll have some things to reflect on too. But for now, it's time for a quick break. We're back in a moment, and the analyst desk will break down that game. So we'll see you in a moment.